Rise today to congratulate Rebecca Sharkey on her wonderful win in the by-election of Mayo last weekend. It was a tremendous win, and interesting enough that it followed on from the loss at the previous general election of Jamie Briggs, who'd been installed as by the Downer family. And the headline in the Courier up in Mount Barker last week, after a poll came out, said that Georgina Downer was more unpopular than Jamie Briggs. Now, that's a pretty hard headline to get, and it takes a fair bit of work, because Jamie wasn't very well liked anywhere in the electorate. Don't think he was even that well liked within the Liberal Party, because he was quite offensive to people. And I guess it was a lesson in how you should go about your politics if you want to be a good local member and a good candidate. And Rebecca Sharkey has worked tirelessly as the federal member for Mayo, and I know people in Kangaroo Island, down in Yankalilla, McLaren Vale, Wollonga, who speak very, very highly of Rebecca Sharkey and the work that she has done. In fact, I'm getting some interjections from people across the other side, and one of the interesting points that Georgina Downer made in her speech on Saturday night was that she thanked the state Liberal MPs in the area for all their help to get her to where she got. Well, it wasn't a great spot to end up, but she looks like she's putting her hand up again to go around, and I wish her well. But I've got to say that the people have spoken this time, and it was they sort of came out in the way they have been relating to both of these candidates, Rebecca and Georgina, in the poll results. I think Georgina may have won about 6 or 7 booths across the whole electorate, and that is that people wanted to go for a candidate who had a proven track record in their area, not someone who moved in from Victoria and wanted to count on the family name. And I think Alexander Downer, who was the member up in Mayo for 24 years and served the country as the Foreign Affairs Minister for a record length of time, was the leader of the Liberal Party federally at one stage. I don't think he did Georgina any favours, and probably not his own legacy any favours either, by the way he carried on, because Georgina Downer and her team were sending abusive messages to people on social media that we didn't ask for. I was getting all this stuff that they were abusing Rebecca Sharkey, saying that she'd voted with Bill Shorten on this many times, and all these things, made up things that they were sending out to people like me. I don't follow Georgina Downer on social media, but the Downers themselves, so Georgina's mum and dad, they had to answer some questions to go into the chat group that they went into to pick a fight. Well, they came out very upset with the reaction that they received in there, with Alexander Downer saying, "I agree with my wife." He probably had a posher accent than this. "We are Adelaide Hills people and been in politics here for decades, and through multiple elections never come across such abuse. Sharkey supporters have brought horrible hate to our district. Never seen this before. You must all be new arrivals." Now, don't we go back to the 2001 federal election with the made-up stuff about babies being thrown overboard and all that stuff that was repulsive about that federal Liberal government, and that Alexander Downer, of course, was a part of that. All this talk about new arrivals. The only new arrival that we had here was his daughter, Georgina. She'd come back after 20 years of living in Victoria. I sent her a new elector letter last week, as I do for all the new electors who enrol into the seat of Mawson. Sent her a letter saying, I was a bit confused, though, because it was to her mum and dad's beach house down at Carrickalinga, and yet she told a forum the week before that she lived in the Adelaide Hills at Heathfield. So there were more holes in Georgina Downer's story than a tea bag's got, and no one could actually sort of work out who she was. So one thing you've got to do is actually get your story right. You've actually got to be a local person, not rely on some,
Order.
Not rely on who your great-granddaddy was, who your granddaddy was and who your daddy was. You've actually got to get out there and be a member of the community and do the work. You've got to do the work. So I congratulate all the candidates who put up their hand for Mayo. Reg Coots, who went for the ALP, and again, I congratulate Rebecca Sharkey on her outstanding win, and I look forward to working with her I see that Georgina Downer has putting her hand up for a Liberal Party pre-selection again. She is the Andrew Ukles of Australian politics. And if you don't know who Andrew Ukles is, Google Andrew Ukles and bull ant nest and see what it's like to put your hand up to suffer pain when you know what the result's going to be.